Hello, hello! Welcome back. This is the Electrify Expo here in New York. It's a beautiful day too. And if you can hear our voices, this is the EV Reality Check booth powered by greencars.com. If you are shopping for an EV today here at the Expo, make sure to check out greencars.com. You can also swing by their booth over here to our left, to your right, to get more information. It's a great resource online for all things related to pricing and range. If you're shopping for EVs, it's a good one-stop shop to get a lot of your questions answered. So my name is Matt Teskey, and I'm the founder and CEO of ChargeWay. I've been in the automotive industry for about 25 years. And if you are driving an EV today, or if you're shopping for one, download the ChargeWay mobile app. It's going to tell you exactly how charging works in Sesame Street terms. It's like colors for plugs and numbers for power, and it's right on the map, and it makes it super easy. So make sure to check that out on iOS and Android. So in the EV Reality Check booth, we're meeting with a lot of industry leaders and experts that are on the front lines of making things happen. That could be the vehicles, that could be infrastructure policy, or maybe, I don't know, where the rubber meets the road.
Where the rubber meets the road.
Where the rubber meets the road. So we're going to get into some cool discussions around what's happening in tire technology here in a second. But also I'm joined by Daniel Cohen here. You're my partner in crime here in New York. Every city I get a co-host, and this time it's been Daniel. How am I doing today? I've gotten 3.5 times yesterday. I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. How's today going?
You've been knocking it out of the park.
Did I break 3.5?
At least.
Nice.
I think. No, today's been excellent. And not that yesterday was not also excellent, but today's been great. And it's been a privilege to be able to bring some sort of East Coast practical realism to your West Coast idealism.
That is a nice way to put it. So diving right in, Zach Baggett, you are the regional manager with Uncooked Tires. You guys have been developing out some very cool technologies that relate to EV tires. And that's something that I think a lot of people, they ask themselves, is that really a thing? Does that matter? And the answer is, well, yeah, there's a lot of technology that goes into tires in general, but when it comes to EVs, there's a lot of little factors around driving an EV, both from a performance, handling, weight perspective, that matters to create longevity for tires, and also make sure people have just, again, the best rubber that meets the road. So thank you for joining us, and what are you guys up to?
Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Zach. I handle Pennsylvania for Uncooked Tire. And like you said, the rubber meets the road. And one of the most important things in a car, the only thing that touches the ground is the tire. So now that we're in this new generation of EV vehicles, we need specific EV tires fitted on them. And I think the most important thing that I could say is safety-wise. EV vehicles are 25 to 30% heavier. That's well known. I know that there's some people that think, hey, a tire's a tire, we can put it on. But there's a lot of special things that go into an EV tire that makes it safer, makes it more efficient, more energy efficient, and you also don't want a really loud tire too when you're driving a quiet vehicle. So.
Yeah, well, you bring up so many great points, and I think one thing that people often shop about is they just go, what's the price? I need to get 4 tires, just give me something cheap, whatever it might be. And even from the factory sometimes, the tires that are on, from the factory on some of these vehicles, yeah, they work, but they aren't necessarily as good as what you guys have developed. And that's, I think, you can see this in owners groups where they'll say, I gotta get some new tires, and someone will say, hey, go to Honda, get the Ion, because they'll actually get better range. They will actually get better handling. And I think that's so, it shocks people sometimes, and they're just like, isn't it just rubber? I don't get it, what goes in it? And it is compounds, it is technology around, we talked about this a little bit yesterday too, even just like, if you inflate a tire to a certain level, that's perfection. If you have it too low and you put more drag on the wheel, get more drag on the tire, more surface area on the road, your range goes down, little things like that, most people just are not actively thinking about it.
So what are the specific EV characteristics that your tires specifically are designed to deal with? When you talked about heavier weight, right? But there's lots of heavier vehicles out there that are not EVs, so presumably there are tires that are designed for those. But are there other EV-specific factors that you're taking into account when you're designing EV-specific tires?
Right. So, like you said, designing EV-specific tires. At Hankook, we designed a specific tire for EV. A lot of our competitors have an EV-compatible tire. Ours is specific for an EV.
That's a great point, though. Let's pause. What's the difference between compatible and designed product for? Like, how would you describe that?
Well, it's one of those like, well, ours can handle a little bit more weight too. Ours can do a lot of the other things, but when you're looking for something that's going to hit all the boxes, you want something that was specifically designed for it. And with Hankook, a couple of, it's okay.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're back. So, like I said, we have the
Oh, we're good.
sorry, I was cutting out.
No, you're good, yeah. So compatibility, but specific compatibility, meaning it's like, we're not just saying the tire fits your car, right? Because that's what a lot of people might say. It's like, oh, is this the right, is it, you know, a 205 R17 or something? It's like, yeah, it might fit, but what you have is developed out. Again, you just mentioned the weight side of it being an important factor. Yeah,
right, yeah, so the weight side of it is a really important factor. Also rolling resistance, the absolute punch when you
Can you
get...
explain what rolling resistance is?
Rolling resistance, if you are gonna have a tire rolling, there's that drag that's happening every time it rotates. So, especially with EVs, the regenerative braking is very important. It feels different if you've driven an EV tire or an EV car. Obviously, when you hit the accelerator, you try not to say gas, because when you hit the gas, when you hit the accelerator, that punch happens. But very similar with braking, it feels different, and you need something that's going to be that's going to sink and stay on the road, and that's another thing too. Especially with EV vehicles, EV tires, the uneven wear is very prevalent with EV tires. So what we're doing at Hankook is making sure that as much of that tire is touching the road.
So, and I'm very much a layperson when it comes to understanding tyres, so forgive me. But when you talk about rolling resistance, is that similar concept to grip in motorsports in terms of the tyres that you get there?
Right. So it is grip. It's also the energy that gets put out when the tire is moving. If you have an underinflated tire, it could be sluggish. I know with EV owners, they are very conscious.
Test 1, 2.
Visual pause for a second. Technical difficulties and wind difficulties. That just shifted like 5 feet. We got all this on this. We're back. We're back. I don't think you're moving that way. You tell that to spin it, give me and make you move that. Oh, you're on? You're on? You guys are fine with that. Okay. All right. Try. One more time. So, roller resistance, you mentioned it was you said like racing and grip and things like that.
Yeah, so roller resistance, you have to make sure that you're getting the most energy possible. EV owners are very conscious that, you know, if you're talking about the price of a tire, but when you're looking at range, you might have 30% more depending on how much stuff is on the road or if it's a good inflation. Not only that, but you know, how heavy the car is. You're getting performing 65, 70, 75 miles an hour. Our EV tires are
25% more for the rigidity for it. So it's constructed, like I said, specifically for an EV car.
I mean, a lot of what we talk about all the time is LCD. People think that they are very, very, very different, and in reality, it is just a car. They've been talking to, you know, we was talking to Liz earlier from Recurrent. She's like, we want you to drive it like it's a car. We tell people about it all the time. I think the EV industry in general kind of went out of its way to say that it was different for a long time. But as we're kind of unpacking it, the ownership experience is, again, it's just a car. Once it's filled up, it's just a car. And then the tire aspect to it, it's one of the factors that is the one that stands out, because it's probably the first thing you're going to actually have to do for maintenance on your car is the tire. And so, as you've been developing this out over time, and what's the timeline that goes into this type of development to make sure that it is well tested and it also meets the needs of a lot of different factors we've talked about, because the performance features of some of these vehicles aren't exactly the same. Some are putting more power on the ground, things of that nature. How is it this can apply to all EVs in a way that meets all of those different types of models?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and I think what's come a long way too is the infrastructure and the ability to stop at almost every gas station now has an EV charger. It used to be such a different thing, and people were a little bit scared of it, but now Hankook has been on the forefront for the EV tire a lot, and even mostly in Europe. I mean, when they say they want an EV tire, they call it an ion, because with our R&D, our innovation, it area from where we are, but also our Tennessee plant, which is going to be having 11 million tires produced annually, is a state-of-the-art facility, and I think you guys should come down and visit it sometime.
I gotta say, the first time I went to a tire facility back in the day was in Florida. I was visiting Southeast Toyota, and they had a partnership. I forget which manufacturer it was, but I walked in and I immediately said, "Wow, you can smell that!" And all the guys that worked there went, "No, we can't. We're here every day. We literally don't even notice." I'm like, "You don't notice that? That's incredible." They're like, "Yeah, well, we leave and go home, and then the spouse notices." But that's that's the thing is the scale of what we're talking about is pretty incredible. I think people, again, they go to the tire store, they get what they think they need for their vehicle, but the scope and scale of what's gone on in tire development over the years is huge. And we talked about this a little bit the other day about how the tire went from being kind of like you asked, you're like a feature. Yeah, he's like this used to be a feature, right? Like you rewind 70 years and you had things like white walls, and it was almost like an aesthetic element of the vehicle. The wheel has become the aesthetic focus of modern vehicles today. And because of that, the tire has had to become far more technologically advanced to accommodate low-profile tire settings. I mean, I'm staring right now at that Model S. It's like, man, that is a low-pro tire. And then even the different options you see on Ruby vehicles, that is a very standout element of what's changed a lot, frankly, in like the last 20 years. How has that innovation helped with EVs? Has that made it better? Or has that been something along the lines of like, it doesn't matter? You guys can do a big fatty tire for EVs, or you guys can do a small low pro for EVs, and you guys can still make it work well.
Yeah, so it is a great point because if you look at our array, our Ion Evo AS, you can go down to a very, very low pro tire, or it can go up to a pretty large sidewall. And if you're talking, like I said, cornering on a low pro tire on an EV with a tire or a car that's 30% heavier, faster, just the torque of it, it's only helping it. We just released our Ion HG, which is going to be for the light truck. So the sidewalls, you're right, they're getting more and more aggressive. I swear, they're trying to figure out ways of not letting the littlest bit miss out with what they're putting on the sides of these tires now. So
no, it's incredible what's happening. Yeah, these are things that are out of sight and out of mind for most consumers, right? Again, when they think about their cars, we talked about it the other day about you'll go to an owner's group and someone will take a photograph of their car and say, "Yeah, do I need to rotate my tires?" And it's like, no, you've got steel spell showing, bro. Like you've moved beyond rotate. You got to go get new tires. And I think how do we help people understand? Maybe as they're owning the vehicle up front, owning an EV is a little bit different in the sense you don't have to worry about oil changes, all the different other maintenance components. But this maintenance component is still vital. How do we elevate that in people's psyche about EV ownership to say like, no, tires will make or break the difference about how this vehicle works for you based on range and performance. How do you think we can get that in people's minds better on EV ownership?
I think the main thing I would say is say yes when they ask to rotate your tires. It's as important as anything else you're going to do. The efficiency, everyone, they might go 5 miles for 5 cents less in gas, because they can see it. So you have to factor in all of the different things that are involved in these tires, not just EV, but overall. We mentioned the irregular wear. If your tire is underinflated, overinflated, even by a few PSI, that could be the difference in maybe a few months. You could go from a 400-mile range down to a 320-mile range.
Can I ask you something about PSI? The manufacturer's always right when they tell you what the recommended PSI levels are. So when you see that on your car, is that always correct? Should you always stick by that?
Yeah. Yep. Whatever's on the door, stick to it.
Okay. Good to know.
Got a question?
Hello guys, my name is Dwayne, current EV owner. We're going to Tesla, my wife Rose is right behind me. Quick question about the tires. Are they allowed to be recapped? Is that something we should be worried about? Recapping the tire?
So not for the passenger light truck. No.
Say it again.
No, not for the passenger light truck. You wouldn't be recapping them. No. For you're talking about just a passenger tire.
We have a Model Y.
Model Y. So no. Just with the safety nowadays,
That's what I'm
yeah. Yep.
So for safety issues, they're not allowed to be recapped at all.
Right. Right. Also, the cost efficiency too. Tires are getting cheaper and cheaper. Warranties that are on them, the safety of them can be only guaranteed if it is a brand new tire.
Perfect. Question, if I'm gonna go like a pickup truck, let's say, and I'm in construction, so I wanna load it up with sheetrock and lumber and whatever, is that gonna slow the car down, the more weight? Will the tire rating, the PSI, like you were saying, does everything need to be 100%, or do I need to calculate for weight?
I'll let you answer, but I think the thought around that is getting back to like if the car is the car. The technology, the tire technology as it relates to suspension technology, frame technology, all of that's going into EVs. The difference being the drivetrain really is the focal point. If you're loading up a fully gas-powered truck compared to a fully electric truck, that technology that's inside of the planning around how that vehicle functions for tires, suspension, brakes, frame, everything, it's in that respect, it's apples to apples in that regard. The additional weight we're talking about, like the EV, like electric truck compared to a gas truck, you get some really heavy trucks and vehicles, like for example, the Hummer, for example, is a pretty heavy vehicle. F-150 Lightning is, again, a little bit heavier, but it's not to the point, I think, where you need to be overly concerning about if I load this thing up, do I have to do extra calculations here? Do I got to up my PSI or something? No, I think you're safe. That's my 2 cents based on what I know, but I mean, that's exactly. Feel free to
Yeah, you also, you want to defer to the car, to what the specs of the car are,
So, nothing to worry about as far as the shocks or the suspension. Is what you're saying. So
drive it like a truck. Drive it like a truck.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm gonna load it up. I'm in construction. Well, I'm in sales, so I got retail. I own a hardware store. So
I give full credit to the brands that have been building trucks for a very long time. Again, we see here like Ford next to us, General Motors, what they've done with GMC for the Hummer EV and now the Silverado EV. They've been doing trucks for a long time, and then it required them to do the development processes to make sure they can build in the underpinnings of those vehicles, to have those battery packs, to make sure that vehicle is going to be roadworthy to the same extent that they would call it an F-150, or that they would call it a Silverado. So again, I would say drive that thing like it's a truck.
on Hankook Ion HD tires.
thank you. I really
forgot that last part.
He's got to throw his. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the show.
No, hey, thank you for the questions. Yeah. No, and again, his questions are great too, because what this points to is a lot of those things that happen in people's minds as they hear these conversations. Part of the dispelling of the rumors and myths we've had throughout the weekend is some things have just kind of crept into the consumer psyche around EVs. And again, we talked about how we've been kind of regarding the difference for a long time, but in reality, these are vehicles you can't trust the way you trusted before. Technologically speaking, there are advances you can make around things like tire selection as you own the vehicle.
Give me a couple minutes.
I totally see where he's coming from. I'm like, is this a crazy question, or can I just beat the hell out of this thing like it's a truck, like drive like a truck? Yeah.
So one thing I did want to ask you about, when we're trying to tackle the myths around EV, man-made myths. One of the ones I'm sure you're aware of is that EVs might be cleaner and that they don't emit exhaust fumes, but they're much dirtier because the particulates that come from the tyres are just as polluting as what you get with gas cars, and you get all of that because EVs are heavy, blah blah blah. So, what's the truth?
So, I can't speak on the cars, but I know that Hankook continues to win awards for our green efficiency, our compounds. We have, like I said, our plant that we are doubling in Clarksville, Tennessee is state of the art. It's going to be one of the cleanest energy producing factories in the country. So, but you are right. There's a trade-off. There's 6 of one, half dozen the other. But ultimately, we're trending towards cleaner.
And at the end of the day, first construction, you're driving a gas car, driving an electric car, you're going on the road, you're going to have you're going to wear, you're going to have particulates, all that's a factor. I don't think the weight is to the same extent. If you're driving a Hummer EV, for example, that's a beautiful truck, heavy. If you're in a light duty vehicle like a Model Y, Ioniq 5, Mustang Mach-E, these are comparable vehicles in a way that it's not the extent of that factor. We do have a question. Sorry.
Hi, Greg, future prospective EV car owner.
All right.
2 questions. Do you have any programs for recycling tires?
Currently, we do not. No, not at Hankook. So,
Is that something you're thinking of trying to implement down the road?
yeah, we're always looking at it. Yeah, absolutely. Hankook Innovation is kind of our tagline. So, we do have different sectors of our company. I don't want to say absolutely no, but no, not in the U.S.
And second question, I'm assuming if someone has to get their tires changed, they have to go to either their manufacturer or one of your facilities, or can any down the road mechanic change these tires?
No, any authorized dealer. Some are more comfortable with EV. I mean, what's really nice about the EV crowd is I think they are probably the smartest in terms of consumer knowledge.
Knowledgeable about the vehicles.
They care a lot more. They're looking more into it. So yeah, just but mechanics are really good, and they'll be able to handle it.
Now, if say the mechanic down the road wants to get certified to change the electric car tires, there are programs to help them learn how to do that?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool. Any questions? Yeah.
Just picking up from that, is there anything different in the process of changing a tyre for an EV than from a gas car?
No, there really isn't that much difference. We do have a phone inside, so I mean, but the mechanics are used to that. They've seen it in other vehicles, but it's a noise or sound absorber for it too. That's I mean, it gets it into the other part. We talked about safety, we talked about performance, but also EV tires are quiet. I was looking at a study the other day that said that a normal internal combustion machine has 50% of the sound in the cabin comes from the drivetrain. So, and that is 15% in an EV. And you hear a lot of people who have EV tires, they say, or EV cars, I hear the wind now.
Yeah, you hear the rushing of the wind going by.
You hear the rushing of the wind going by, but it's, yeah, we have the sound absorber technology, but also even just little small bumps in our sights, we have made it so that it actually lowers the road volume as well. So
that little element is just, it's just interesting. You can get to that minutia of design to say, what does it do? It lowers road noise. I mean, that's the scale to which the technology is being developed. So I mean, oh, go ahead, you have one more?
No, I mean, I think it's really interesting if you're thinking about, what is different about EVs from a standard ICE car, and its weight, it's kind of the torque, and it's the quietness. Right?
Yeah.
Those are the three things that you want to be able to address in a tire that's designed for EV.
And it's amazing that the road noise piece is so funny, because like first time I ever got an EV on the highway, I was like, yep, I can hear wind. That's different.
you notice it. It's funny. The first thing you notice is, wow, this goes really fast, and the second is, this is kind of weird how quiet it is.
Yeah, I mean, long ago, I mean, like, there was conversations like, can we make them louder? And I think over time, I've grown to appreciate, I don't want to do that. But back in the day, like when I was tuning cars, oh yeah, I was making my cars loud. But I mean, it's an element of ownership that people have really grown to love. And I think that's a big part of the performance combined with what you describe. It is performance, but it also is a different experience inside the cabin. And again, that's part of why Expo exists, is to get people behind the wheel so they can experience that. So I guess last comments on where do people find out information about Hankook and the Ion Tire?
So you can look on HotCookTire.com, but just our full rate in America is our, for the Ion side, we have the Evo, which is our ultra high performance, the Ion Evo AS, which is our all season. We have the Ion HT, which was just released, like I said, it's for our light truck cars, a little bit bigger tires. We also have two different versions of a winter tire. We have the ICEP, which is a studless tire, and then also the Nordic Ice, which has studs on it. So you can do that. We have a manufacturer rebate happening right now until the end of November, $100 off a set of Ions. And all of the social medias, check them out. We do a really good job of educating the customer.
Well, again, you were here at the Expo, and that speaks volumes, because there's a lot of the brands are still trying to figure out where their footing is in this space, but you've been embracing it at Hankook, you've been making the tires happen, you're at events like Expo, informing people on this exact thing. Thank you so much for coming by. This has been a great conversation. This is the Reality Check booth. It is powered by greencars.com. We're going to have a few more guests throughout the, closing out the afternoon and the weekend. For now, Zach, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
And Dylan, let's hear it. And that was Zach Baggett from Hankook Tire, live on the EV Reality Check stage, powered by greencars.com. And in a few moments, at 3:30, we're going to welcome our next guest to the stage, Michael Pitzer, EV advisor at Drive Electric Long Island, joined by Ralph Infantino, an education outreach coordinator as well for Drive Electric Long Island. 3:30 is our next session, only here at the EV Reality Check stage.